Boom! Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. And if you are new around here and finding yourself on my channel for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button, because we drop an update just like this one around 1 PM UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. Apologies for not being in my normal location. I'm currently at one of the properties that I have, currently getting some floors fitted. So hence the different background. I would show you, the floors a little bit. Currently getting some floors fitted. So we're out the office, but still committed to bringing you guys a daily market update and sharing a little bit of our personal life with you. As always, we've got a hell of a lot to get into. We're going to be looking at some comments made by Elon Musk in relation to XRP. We are going to be talking about the Japanese Democratic Party and how they are pledging to lower taxes on the cryptocurrency space in the face of a communist Britain about to royally screw all of us. And that bill is coming at the end of October, and I think it's quite undefendable. So we will be looking at all that. We'll also be looking at some inflation news from Germany in regards to producer price. We do believe the war on inflation has been won. And ultimately, you know, this is the easing cycle that we're in is one on the back end of it's acceptable to ease with inflation being slain. They don't need to do it too aggressively. I think that's why we've seen on the back end of the last non-farm payroll number that we had, the dollar gets some strength because they did that jumbo cut. The urgency isn't there, and actually that's a good thing. However, we might be witnessing a little bit of dollar strength that's leaning on the markets. And then we'll be talking about Bitcoin, the SPY and Ethereum, and taking a general look at the cryptocurrency space. So let's dive into it all. Digital asset funds, flows, weekly report. Now, we like to look at this every single Monday. And believe it or not, from the time of me clicking record to now, they've just released their next report. This has literally just came out. Digital asset inflows surged to $2.2 billion amid US election optimism. Digital asset inflows hit $2.2 billion, the largest since July, driven by optimism over the potential Republican US election win. Remember Stan Druckenmiller, we looked at that last week, gave his opinion that ultimately he thought Trump was going to win, and he thought that markets were very much positioned in that manner. The markets are often a better indicator for things than anything, because of course people are privy to information, pulling the strings from behind the scenes, and ultimately use the markets to manipulate the masses. US inflows reached $2.3 billion, while other regions saw minor outflows, likely due to profit taking. Bitcoin led with $2.13 billion in inflows, while Ethereum and several altcoins saw smaller gains. Multi-asset products broke their 17th consecutive week inflow streak, seeing $5.3 million in outflows. Grayscale just recently applied to convert their digital large cap fund into an ETF, and that has Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sol, XRP, and I think AVAX. And if we go down here, you can see Bitcoin really was the star of the show. And we've been showing you guys throughout pretty much all of last week the fundamental metrics that show accumulation of Bitcoin, whether that be from institutions or large addresses or the reserve drainings on exchanges during this pullback. And we do believe this is just a pullback in a broad retro, and we've got lots of technical confluence to suggest that. If you guys want to become a patron, now is the time to do it. And the first thing you should absolutely do is check out last night's Patreon meeting. It was a great one. But to continue, this was interesting news that I wanted to cover. And it's very interesting. We're seeing those kind of inflows at a point where we're about to sort of take off. Bitcoin is breaking out of its pullback. We're seeing similar things for the total market caps. We're seeing interesting things with ETPs, miners starting to excel, and altcoins have technical patterns that are ultimately going to see them go higher. You've just got to deal with the sort of day-to-day chop. To sort of put a capstone on all of that and what we've just looked at, this is very interesting. This is Elon Musk now mentioning XRP. I don't believe he did mention it. I think he did mention it, but when asked by an individual, it's amazing how strong the XRP community is. We've got lots of great XRP content that I don't think many people are covering right now to really reveal to you, that kind of hints at it being part of the new financial system, which is essentially what this question was. So we're going to go ahead and play this clip, and then we're going to continue.
Given how punitive the SEC has been towards crypto under this administration, do you envision the XRP ledger being incorporated into the financial institutions in the future?
Well, cool. I certainly cannot speak to any specific crypto, but you know, I do think that the sort of cryptocurrency is an interesting and probably valuable bulwark against a centralized control. So, you know, this is definitely not an endorsement or lack of endorsement for XRP, but I do think crypto, by its very nature, it helps with individual freedom.
Very interesting. That guy that asked the question just shot to XRP hero status. That is for sure. And we'll be bringing out lots of content. We just wanted to sort of bring this up. We'll be bringing out lots of content in regards to XRP in the coming weeks because there's just so much to cover. It finds itself all over the place. Some news from Japan, just in. Japan's Democratic Party for the People leader, we're definitely not going to attempt that name, pledges to cut crypto taxes to 20% if elected. This is in the face of a communist Britain now about to royally screw us all, coming at the end of October. We've got a budget that is set to drop. We're seeing a mass migration. As people from Britain, we are becoming migrants of our own, in the sense that we are now trying to escape what is becoming a very dystopian government. Enough on that, just some interesting news. Some news in regards to inflation. So right now, and what we think ultimately is the large part to drive the markets, is what the central banks are going to do. They're the great manipulators of liquidity. They're ultimately going to weaken the dollar. The correlation is that dollar down, liquidity up, and of course we know what the relationship is there for risk assets, and Bitcoin is the most correlated. The reason they're doing that is because they've slain inflation, and people get worried that they're lowering interest rates because there's been negative connotations to that previously, although we looked at that Charles Schwab report that looked at the last 14 times what the S&P's returns were 12 months after, and that painted a very different picture. 12 of those 14 times the S&P has gone higher, only 2 times being the 2000s and 2008, where there was crisis situations, and we're printing the same money in a week or a couple of weeks that we did in 2008 to sort of bail things out, 500 billion. We're not cutting under those contexts. We're cutting under actually things are okay and there's no need to have interest rates where they are, and it's kind of adding to the debt burden. So that's a goosing of the economy that's ultimately going to see things do well. And in regards to Germany, producer price has unexpectedly dropped to 1.4 in September year over year, mainly due to lower energy costs. However, when energy prices were excluded, PPI increased to 1.2. Producer price, PPI, are generally a good leading indicator for consumer price, CPI. We're also going to get, I think, PPIs in the US on Thursday or Friday, so something to watch out for. Of course, the dollar's to be watched on that. Crypto today having a bit of a lackluster day, slightly down. I think this is largely on the back end of dollar strength as people are repricing interest rates. They always get too overzealous and giddy with it. We've ultimately spoke about how Bitcoin is on the verge of that next leg higher, and there's multiple indicators that lead us to believe that. This is just some consolidation before you really see that acceleration to the upside. When we look at the likes of Ethereum, it has an S&P style journey ahead of it, in our opinion. The stars really are aligned. And then when we look at the likes of total market cap and other things, you know, there really is, I think, a great time ahead of us. And we're on the cusp of embarking on that journey. This is the total market cap. This is a bull flag that's ultimately going to see the market nearly double. And this is going to be the next leg that we are about to witness, in my opinion. We're also seeing a similar thing for total too, for the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum excluded from the total market cap. And of course, this was largely missed news. Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, this is now broken and triggered what is a broader pattern that would have seen nearly a 10x return in regards to us highlighting this right shoulder. This is made up of cryptocurrencies. Ultimately, if this is heading in the right direction, just like what we predicted for Grayscale GBTC, that's bullish for the entire industry. So we're going to keep this one slightly short and sweet, guys, because of course we are currently out and about, sort of dealing with some chores, I guess you could say. But we wanted to do an update nevertheless. I'm wishing you all, guys, a magical Monday, wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing. We'll be back in the office hopefully this evening. We'll see how we get on here. I'm sure many of you know what it's like waiting on people to do things. That's it from me. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Have a smashing Monday and a magnificent week, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next.